Ladies and gentlemen, a warm good morning to everyone. Welcome to the PIC Climate Emergency Conference 2025. We are here today because we recognize that climate change is not just an environmental issue. It is a global emergency, impacting our economies, societies, and future generations. This conference serves as a platform for experts, policymakers, and industry leaders to discuss and shape solutions for a sustainable future and a climate resilient one. This prestigious event is hosted by Pune International Center in collaboration with the team EECC, which is Energy, Environment and Climate Change. And we have the honor of welcoming some of the most influential minds in climate science and policy industry. To set the stage for today, we have the honor of welcoming a visionary scientist, an institutional builder, and a national treasure, Dr. Raghunath Mashelkar, President of Pune International Center. He has dedicated his life to scientific innovation, research, and policy making. Throughout his illustrious career, he has authored around 25 books, published 284 research papers, and has been awarded 52 honorary doctorates from universities worldwide. Beyond academia, he has played a pivotal role in shaping India's science and technology policies. Having chaired 12 high-powered Mashelkar committees and served on the Scientific Advisory Council to the Prime Minister, his exceptional contributions to the scientific research, public policy, and innovation have earned him numerous prestigious awards, including the Padma Shri, Padma Bhushan, and Padma Vibhushan. As an international recognition, such as Business Week Star of Asia and the Shanti Swarup Bhatnagar Prize, Dr. Mashelkar is only the third Indian engineer to be inducted as a Fellow of the Royal Society in UK, and the first Indian to be elected as the Fellow of the National Academy Inventors US. It is an absolute honor to have him with us today. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Mashelkar to deliver the inaugural address.
Professor Amitav Malik, मराठीत ज्याला आपण करता करविता म्हणतो आजच्या कार्यक्रमाचे. My esteemed friend Dr. Madhav Gadgil, champion of earth, Madhav. There are several other friends, I don't want to go through all the names. Team EECC, particularly I want to mention, who has put every ounce of energy in organizing this wonderful event. Distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen. This is a very special day, Women's Day, as we all celebrate, but also a very special day for Pune International Center, because this auditorium was formally inaugurated on the 5th with Pandit Kasharkarji giving an illuminating sort of performance, but this is the first technical program in this particular auditorium, and I'm sure as time goes on, we'll be having hundreds and thousands of them. So welcome to this very, very special morning indeed. We are particularly proud that PIC has its own home now, something that we are very, very proud indeed. And as I had mentioned when we inaugurated the campus, that we have what you might like to call as an intellectual hub here. Madhav, I just mentioned on that day that if you just see dozens of institutions in few square kilometers here, but you just go across and you see ICER, you see NCL next to each other. Do you know these two institutions together, how many PhDs they have? For 1,200 PhDs. Can you just imagine what sort of intellectual fervor this place is going to create? So one feels very, very special indeed today. As we know, PIC, as you entered, you saw it is all about churning ideas and building our futures. And we are concerned with one of the greatest challenges that humanity has faced in its history. There is no exaggeration when I say that we are standing at the precipice of a defining moment in human history. Climate change is no longer a distant threat. It is our present reality. The floods, the wildfires, the droughts, the hurricanes, this is not a future scenario. This is happening right now as we speak. The climate emergency is no longer just an academic debate, a policy discussion, or an activist slogan. It is a planetary crisis, and the clock is ticking. So, Amitav, I must congratulate you for using the word emergency. You didn't say urgency, you said emergency, and that's what we are at. We are indeed running out of time. There's an African proverb that says that the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. But what have we done instead? We have cut the trees down, and Madhav knows about it, and he has championed it for decades now. We have paved our forests, pumped out skies full of carbon, all in the name of progress. And now as the planet burns, as ice caps melt, as species vanish before our eyes, we are left scrambling for solutions that should have been implemented decades ago. Let me be blunt. This is not just a crisis of nature. This is a crisis of leadership. Why do I say that? The policies are being rolled back. The reckless denial of science, and I know you know who I'm talking about. The short-term political games, these are not just inconvenient setbacks. They are crimes against the future. President Donald Trump pulled out of the Paris Agreement. Trump 1, Trump 2, twice. The world just didn't lose a signature on the treaty. It lost time. It lost momentum. It lost moral leadership. The reality is this: the earth does not need saving. We do. The planet will survive in some form or the other long after we are gone. It has withstood ice ages, asteroid impacts, supervolcanoes. What is at stake is not the survival of the earth, it is the survival of humanity as we know it today. And yet here we are, acting as if it is kind of a distant, slow-moving catastrophe. By 2050, sea levels will rise. By 2070, extreme heat waves will be warm. By 2100, the Arctic may be ice-free, etc. We are looking into the future. But ladies and gentlemen, the crisis is now. Last year, parts of the world hit 53 degrees centigrade, unlivable temperatures. Farmers in some regions are seeing 90% crop failure due to drought. Wildfires have reached places that have never burned before. And still, we negotiate as if nature is going to wait. Nature is not negotiating with us. We have seen countries set net zero targets for 2050, 2060, 2070, as if we have the luxury of time, as if the climate crisis is politely waiting for us to get our act together. I'm sorry, that is wrong. And that is where institutions like Pune International Center must lead the way, have been leading the way. Amitav, thanks to your leadership and your wonderful EECC group, which has done a fantastic work. Let me say a few words. For over a decade, PIC has been at the forefront of climate action, not just through research, not just through policy, but through real, tangible, actionable change. From our early efforts in climate literacy, I remember those days, Amitav, when we started by just creating awareness. That is how we started. That was the first step in a 1,000-mile journey. And sustainable urban planning to our ambitious push for decarbonization of the Pune metropolitan region, that is PMR, we have never wavered in our mission. When we launched the Pathway to Rapid Decarbonization report in 2020, we did so with conviction that India must not just meet global climate goals, but set the gold standard for how sustainable development should be done. And despite the world shutting down during the COVID-19 pandemic, and I'm very proud, PIC did not stop. While many were waiting for the world to return to normal, we doubled down, creating a groundbreaking tech-fin feasibility report proving that PMR could achieve net carbon neutrality by 2030. This was not just theory, it was a roadmap for action. And we proved something remarkable. Carbon emissions in PMR by 2030 can be lower than in 2020. That means despite population growth, despite urban expansion, despite economic pressures, we can bend the carbon curve. That is why PIC has not stopped at policy. We have gone further, piloting microgrid technologies for 24/7 renewable energy access, demonstrating how states like Maharashtra can pole vault into a future powered by clean distributed energy. And we are not waiting for change. We are trying to build it ourselves. And we must go further. And so we look ahead. PIC is stepping again, building renewable energy capacity for India's energy independence by 2047. Because true independence, ladies and gentlemen, is not just political. It is freedom from fossil fuels. It is freedom from pollution. It is freedom from the stranglehold of unsustainable industries. Pune, and I must say, for Pune International Center, we are creating special centers like on sustainable mobility and so on and so forth. This is not the time to go over everything that PIC is doing, but I thought I'll give you a glimpse very proudly of what we have done so far. To me, Pune is not just a thought, but as an action leader, not only in policy, but also in technology, in social innovation, etc., to combat climate change. So as a scientist and technologist, I must talk a little bit about what Pune is doing, some highlights of the science and technology advances that we are making to combat climate change. On 28th February 2024, which happened to be the Science Day, our Honorable Prime Minister launched a catamaran built by Cochin Shipyard, a ferry carrying 50 passengers. It has the indigenous hydrogen proton exchange membrane cell technology developed by our NCL and KPIT technologies. I'm very proud to say, in performance, it is ahead of the world, and in cost, it is a fraction of global benchmarks. I always talk about affordable excellence. This is a classical case of affordable excellence. What does that mean? So under the Harinauka initiative of Government of India, all the Indian waterways can be made green by using this technology. And indeed, India can be world leader in greening world's waterways. I think this is extremely important, leadership, not just following. That is my paid theme. I remember in 2000, we created this new Millennium Indian Technology Leadership Initiative. Leadership was in capital letters. And that is where these fuel cell programs were launched. And it was risk-taking, because Indian industry always worked in areas where technology was known, markets were known, play safe. We went into areas where technologies were unknown and markets were unknown. Real risk. That time, nobody talked about fuel cells. We went into that at that time, you know. That was the risk-taking, and you can see now the results. Look at Praj, for example, world's leading biofuel company. It is a world leader in second-generation bioethanol plants with imprint in more than 100 countries. We should be proud of that. Green hydrogen is going to be the future. This is not yet public knowledge, but I'm just happy to share that there were green hydrogen valley projects from different cities. And I'm very proud to say that the Pune Green Hydrogen Valley project proposal was ranked as the best last month and has been funded under MNRE in its National Green Hydrogen Mission, something that we should be very proud of, basically. And I must congratulate Pune Knowledge Cluster, Dr. Ashish Lele, who provided the leadership. What is special about this? Because when you talk about green hydrogen, it's not just its production, it's not just its storage, it's its committed use. That is where green hydrogen has been stuck. Now, if you see this particular project, it is end-to-end, so as to say. What is remarkable is that, we always complain about private sector not taking the lead, private sector not putting in money, etc. As you know, India's investment have been 0.64%. 0.7% to 0.64% is the progress we have made during the last decade, out of which 2/3 come from the government, 1/3 from the private sector. I'm very happy to say, in this particular project, it is exactly the reverse. 2/3 is coming from private sector. Private sector is taking a lead in Pune in this particular project. And its potential impact is huge because, for example, we have in Kurkum the fine chemicals, specialty chemicals industry, and they will have to go green in order to be able to export. And they have to use green hydrogen for reduction, for example. General Patankar, our share in this multi-billion-dollar sort of specialty chemicals is just 2%. We can raise it to 20% if we go green. Can you see the export potential? So I think the pointers that I'm giving to you are ones which are game changers. That's what Pune is doing. And finally, the challenge of availability of lithium, whose supply is controlled by China. KPIT Technology has developed sodium-ion batteries that are state-of-the-art and will take care of national security concerns. And here is where the government of India, that a particular fund that they have created for supporting private sector is very, very important, because normally the labs get stuck on TRL, technology readiness level, from 1 to 3, 4, and then there is a big gap, and industry wants TRL 9. That particular gap has to be filled. This technology is at TRL 7. You can see with this such funds coming in where we can. So I would say, ladies and gentlemen, that PIC is showing leadership in climate policy research. Pune institutions and industry together are showing leadership in technological innovation. And as a Punekar, as a Puneite, I feel very proud. Let me end with the theme of this conference once again, the Climate Emergency Conference. I remember I was the president of Indian National Science Academy, and I pulled out my records. On 9 June 2007 in Delhi, there was this Blackett Memorial Oration that was given. You know by whom? Lord Martin Rees, the president of Royal Society. And you know what was the title? The title was, "The Last Century. Will the Civilization Survive the 21st Century?" 2007, there were early warnings that were issued by the president of Royal Society. And what are we doing 17 years later, 18 years later? We are discussing the same challenge that we have. So I would like to conclude by saying the following. There will be discussions, there will be deliberations. I determine the success of any deliberation in terms of the new idea that emerge, not revigorating the same ideas over and again, same statistics. I mean, you go to Google and you will get all the statistics. But how do we do things differently? So, you know, Ajit, Sir Francis Bacon has said that when you want to achieve results which have not been achieved before, it is an unwise fancy to think that they can be achieved by using the methods that have been used before. And therefore, ladies and gentlemen, that is the onus of these deliberations. What is the fresh thinking we do, all right, so that we can deal with this conference. So it's not about thinking smart, but thinking differently, acting fast. And again, Amitav, thank you for reminding us, one planet, one chance. We have to seize that chance. Thank you very much.
I would like to invite Professor Malik to provide Dr. Mashelkar with a token of appreciation.